Welcome back to part 3 of the Japan Diaries. So far in the series, we've wandered the busy streets of Tokyo, skied through the dreamiest Japow and Niseko, and now we're picking up right where we left off. Next, we're exploring not one, but 2 of Japan's most iconic cities, Kyoto and Osaka. Now this episode is going to be a little different. Why? Because we packed a lot into this final leg of the trip. Like a lot. So to make it easier to follow and more helpful for those of you planning a trip of your own, I'm breaking each city into 3 simple parts: where we stayed, what we did, and what we ate, both in Kyoto and Osaka. These 2 cities have completely different personalities. Kyoto feels ancient, serene, and spiritual, the birthplace of international favorites like Matcha and where shrines glow at night. And Osaka, which is bold, progressive, and modern, a city of wild signage, sculptural street food, and electric alleyways full of energy. Let's dive into the final leg of the Japan Diaries. After flying from snowy Hokkaido to the Kix airport of Osaka, we took a shuttle into Kyoto and checked into the Asai Kyoto Hotel. I've stayed here twice now. The rooms are minimal and beautifully designed, the location is perfect, and the price is amazing for the area. The rates are around $150 a night, but the location is amazing and you actually get breakfast with your stay. The in-house restaurant is also great. It's basically Japanese Thai fusion, so the menu is really interesting. The hotel felt like one of those places where you run into travelers from all over the world. 10 out of 10, I would definitely recommend staying here. Now let's get into what we did. First up, Kinkaku-ji, or the Golden Pavilion Shrine. This temple is literally gold and floats above a peaceful pond. It's very spiritual and very still. It was crowded in the spring and winter, but not nearly as hectic as my last visit, which was in the spring. We bought and burned incense here and had some peaceful moments before what came next as some of the busiest moments of our trip. Next was Hokkanji Temple, which has a famous pagoda I feel like I've seen a zillion pictures of when researching what to do in Kyoto.
We have one more stop. Just one more.
It's the one that's down a narrow alley with layers of rooftops that lead to a tall wooden tower. We went at sunset and it was ungodly busy. The streets are filled with visitors and people wearing traditional Japanese clothing like kimonos and furisode, which is a formal kimono worn by unmarried women on coming of age day. On an adjacent street, we visited the Yasaka shrine. The sun had just set, so it was lit up by lanterns. But this is important, there are signs everywhere asking people not to enter certain areas, and people just straight up ignored them. Please do not do that and respect locals and their space. Next up is one of the most photographed spots, not only in Kyoto, but all of Japan, the endless orange torii gates of Fushimi Inari Shrine. So the gates start very big in the front, and then the farther you go in, the smaller they get. Let's go. Everyone says to go at sunset or don't go at all because of the crowds, but here's the thing. If you're willing to hike just a bit further, the crowds really thin out. Most people walk through the first or second set of gates and snap a pic, then leave. But the higher you go, the better the views and the quieter the path, and the more magical the experience. Talking to a few friends, I think not many people get very far into the gates, so we're going on a bit of a hike today, and I'll show you what is like a little bit farther if you want to go past the first 2 sets of gates. There's a 2.5-mile loop you can do, and there's even little restaurants and smaller shrines the farther you go. After our visit, we stumbled upon a riverside cafe where I had the best matcha of our entire trip, but I'll get to that later. Next is the Arashiyama bamboo forest. We made it back to the bamboo forest. We are in the Arashiyama area. The bamboo forest is really beautiful, very big, like lots of people, and there's lots of trails. So we're going into the forest. Okay, I'm sitting on the ground because look how cool it looks from down here. That's not what I was talking about. This place is so peaceful and photogenic, but you will not be experiencing it alone. The farther you walk, the taller and more symmetrical the bamboo gets. You probably won't get a people-free photo, but it's still such a nice walk. Don't ignore all this area has to offer. There are some beautiful viewpoints as well as countless cherry blossom trees if you happen to be visiting in spring. There's also a short but steep hike you can do to see monkeys that live wild and roam around a park. While they do seem happy and in their natural habitat, I fear they may rely on the resources provided by this park, and I was unable to find much info on the ethics about this park online. I think visiting was a bit of a learning experience for me, and I kind of decided that any system that incentivizes wildlife to appear for food and not out of natural patterns is not something I'm interested in. The actual town of Arashiyama is super cute. We wandered the town, and afterwards we ended up in this older local train that took us back towards downtown Kyoto. It was slow, scenic, and low-key one of my favorite parts of the day. Walking through Pontocho's tiny alleys lined with izakayas, cocktail lounges, and yakitori restaurants was a vibe. We didn't go in anywhere because we were super full and really tired, but this place felt like it was straight out of a movie. After hiking down from the Fushimi Inari shrine, we stopped at a little cafe called Vermillion, which sits right next to a quiet stream. Now in the pictures on Google, the river looks like neon blue, but in real life it was more of a soft green, but it was still absolutely beautiful and super peaceful. I ordered a matcha here, and I do not say this lightly, this was the best matcha I had anywhere in Japan. The flavor was rich, smooth, I watched them make it, and it felt very methodical the way it was stirred up. Kyoto is known for its matcha culture, and this cafe totally lived up to the hype. Pro tip, if you want to get breakfast here, which looked amazing by the way, go early. They had already sold out all of their breakfast items when we got there. Next up is the Nishiki Market. This place is a must. It is huge, chaotic, and smelly in the best way, because it's full of both street snacks and full-blown restaurants. You can wander for hours and still feel like you've only seen a corner of it. Here's what we tried. Fatty tuna, sliced fresh in front of us. It was melt in your mouth good.
That was so good. That's probably the best tuna I've ever eaten in my entire life.
Tempura from a Michelin guide stall, only 400 yen per piece. We got shrimp and pork. Poor Nicole has a shrimp allergy, so we were careful and got out of there quickly. I grabbed a giant strawberry lemonade served in a German-style beer stein, which was so random, but it was really good. We tried a vanilla soft serve drizzled with flavored honey from Shugi. It was super sweet, but really good. I actually bought a variety pack of flavored honey to bring home. I couldn't resist another strawberry daifuku. The combo of sweet and chewy is perfect. And finally, one of those custard-filled fish-shaped cakes. They're called taiyaki, and it's a really popular treat here in Japan. Honestly, this market is a full-on food adventure. If you're going, arrive hungry and bring cash. You'll end up with a ton of coins when you're visiting Japan, so make sure you buy a cute little coin purse before you go or at one of these markets in Japan. Aside from all the food at Nishiki Market, there's tons of shopping, with everything from hairpins to custom chopsticks. If you like to shop, you could spend all day here. Later that night, we found ourselves at what easily was the most elevated revolving sushi spot we visited during the entire trip. It was called Kaiten Sushi, Ginza, Onodera. The vibe was sleek and modern, and I had some classic hand rolls, but the highlight was this spring onion roll that had a mountain of fresh cut scallions.
Okay, next up I have this little green onion roll. I've never seen anything like it. It has like a ton of tiny little pieces of green onion. Lost half of it, but
I weirdly loved it. I'm always on the hunt for unique vegetarian rolls.
really good. Got a cucumber roll. Don't come for me. I eat all of my sushi with a little ginger on top. Cheers. Lastly, I have this soy marinated piece of bluefin tuna. It looks so good.
And to wrap up Kyoto, we sadly said goodbye to Nicole as she headed to the airport.
Nicole, it's your last few hours. So sad.
We're headed to Osaka.
What's funny is that we shared a train, but we had to sit in different cars.
We found the Hello Kitty train. We're on our way to Osaka today. We sadly just said goodbye to Nicole.
Nikki and I realized we were on the Hello Kitty train. I can't say I'm like a huge Hello Kitty stan, but it was really cute. The outside is fully wrapped in Hello Kitty branding, and the theme goes throughout the train and even into the bathroom.
We're on the Hello Kitty train. It's so cute.
Which brings me to Osaka. The train ride was pretty short. When we arrived in Osaka, we stayed right near Dotonbori, just off Namba Station, in a boutique hotel called UH Suites. The building itself is so unique. It's a super tall, narrow building where each floor is basically its own private suite. Now, I've actually stayed with UH Suites before in Seoul. You can check out my other video. And this one in Osaka totally lived up to the vibe. Inside, everything was beautifully designed. Wood panel walls, soft backlight, chrome accents, and a glass top coffee table that made the space feel super upscale but warm. What surprised me most was 4 queen-size bunk beds, perfect for traveling with friends. The bathroom was also huge, which was super refreshing after staying in some tighter rooms, which is pretty much the normal in Japan. Now what we did in Osaka. Let's dive right in. We kicked things off in Dotonbori, which is a loud, chaotic, full of neon street. The Glico Running Man billboard is kind of an iconic photo spot. There's actually a small alley adjacent to the sign where a mindfully painted mural can be aligned with the white lines on the billboard, depending on your camera perspective. It can be crowded, so we actually went up one of the buildings that overlooks the sign and we had sushi, which I'll get into later, but just a tip, don't go up just to take a picture. If you go up there, make sure you eat at the restaurant too. This area centers around Tsutenkaku Tower, and it's kind of underrated in my opinion. It has just as much energy and noise as Dotonbori, with even more local charm. There are tons of restaurants, small shops, thrifting, and glowing signs everywhere. It was a pretty incredible photo spot, and I highly recommend wandering through. I had a fire bowl of ramen here, which I'll get into later.
Walking around, there's a Pringles store. What do they sell? I mean,
Obviously Pringles, but looks like they have a lot more than just that. I kind of want to go in. Wow, there's lots of stuff. Candies. Oh, they have these corn things. These are genuinely the best thing ever. This is what I like to see. They have corned Takis.
so if you don't know what candy to choose, they have this thing where you just pull and it picks for you. I like it.
Speaking of shopping, we of course did some, and Nikki picked up a pair of Onitsu tigers, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm regretting not getting a pair too, and you can actually get them customized in Japan, which we didn't do, but it's something to know if you're planning ahead. Most people order them in the morning and they pick them up in the evening. On our final morning, we visited this shrine just minutes from our hotel. The Namba Yakuza Ginza shrine is famous for its giant 12-meter tall lion head architecture. It was a quick but meaningful stop on our trip. Now let's dive into what we ate in Osaka. Starting off with Revolving Sushi with a view of the Glico Man. I won't go into too much detail since we did Revolving Sushi in Kyoto already, but it was delicious. Every time I get Revolving Sushi, I'm kind of shocked by how affordable it is. One of the things I love most about Japan. Now we found this little ramen spot at the Tsutenkaku area that served Kasu udon, and I ordered the vegetarian version. It had like 5 different kinds of tofu in it. In America, like you can only buy tofu as a block, but in Japan they do it so many different ways. Don't be intimidated by menus without English. Google Translate will save you, and staff everywhere is super kind and helpful. Also, random side note, but as we were eating our meal, I looked over and saw an older couple that was using a paper travel guide to figure out where to go. It kind of made me feel like this spot has been around forever, and in the best way. The next place we visited is super viral online, but they deserve all the hype. Grenier Pastries had these huge puffed croissant style treats filled with creme brulee or strawberries and cream. I think they change their flavors depending on the day. I literally cannot choose a favorite. The creme brulee one had the perfect custard inside, and the strawberry one was super light and fresh. Just be warned, these are super crumbly, and the birds obviously know that because we were low-key attacked. Like it was fine, but there was birds everywhere. This bakery is at the base of this escalator, which low-key has a fire view of the Ferris wheel in the distance. It was kind of a cute photo spot, which was just a bonus to an already amazing bakery. Vegan Cafe Tsutenkaku was probably the most me cafe I've ever been to. They had vegan food and an adorable interior and cat-shaped pancakes. I ordered a plate of the fluffy pancakes with fruit plus 3 toppings. The orange juice was notably good and on another level. It was almost like mandarin flavored. Oh, and the dumplings here, they're probably the best I had on this trip. Hands down. Just worth noting, they had very limited seating, maybe 6 spots total. Later that day, we stopped by Vermillion Café, which has a no-contact pickup system. You order on an iPad, and then your drink is handed to you through a cubby by a person wearing a giant fluffy bear paw. It's adorable, but also meaningful. The cafe employs people with social anxiety or disabilities, and it gives them a comfortable space to work. I love the concept. Also, the coffee was great. We just ordered a latte, but the extended menu had cute sugary drinks. For some reason, there's a lot of speakeasies in Japan. One of the most wholesome moments on the trip was when we were on our way to one and we were vlogging in the train station. These girls came up to us and wanted to be in the video. None of us could speak the same language, but we were all just vibing and laughing together, and it was honestly one of my favorite moments. Shortly after, we found ourselves at a speakeasy hidden inside a phone booth. There was no menu, you just tell the bartender what you like. I asked for something light, refreshing, and citrusy. Nikki asked for something a bit richer, like an old-fashioned. We both loved our drinks. Afterwards, we headed over to a different speakeasy called Bar Neyuda. It was a different vibe from the phone booth one. It was more sleek and moody. It was primarily foreigners and visitors at this bar. Our drinks were good, and we felt like this was a good spot to end the night. The last place I'll mention was Moto Coffee. It was quiet, peaceful, and by the water. I didn't film too much here, but the view was really pretty, and it was a really nice midday reset cafe. There's a balcony, as well as a second and third story for seating. We sat on the second floor and enjoyed our matcha tiramisu and cappuccinos while overlooking the river. Over the course of this series, we've explored some of the most iconic and well-loved destinations in Japan. From the buzzing urban energy of Tokyo to the powdery magic of Niseko slopes and the cultural contrast of Kyoto and Osaka. Each of these places left a mark. Tokyo brought a lot of chaos, Niseko offered a powder-filled adventure, Kyoto gave us beauty, tradition, and matcha, and Osaka brought the flavor, neon, and the unexpected. But here's the thing, while these classic cities are incredible, they're also some of the most heavily touristed places in the country. And with that comes responsibility. Over-tourism is real. It affects the locals, the shrines, neighborhoods, natural sites, and if you're like me, someone who wants to experience the soul of a place and not just the most Instagrammable angles, then maybe it's time to look beyond the obvious. On my next trip to Japan, I'm already planning a different kind of itinerary, one that steps off the main path, whether it's a lesser-known island or a rural mountain town or an onsen village tucked away from the crowds. While I think everyone should visit Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka at least once, definitely consider adding a different location to your itinerary. If you've made it this far in the series, thank you so much for watching. I've had so much fun putting this together, and I hope some of these travel recommendations help you plan your trip. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!